In this video we're gonna look at how I took these photos. I took them with the latest lens in my collection, the Samyang 45mm f1.8 for Sony FE. I've always been looking for a lens like this, a small, compact, lightweight lens with a focal length around 40mm and an aperture of f1.8. And the reason I've been looking for such a lens is because it is the perfect all-round focal length. Around 40mm you can make beautiful portraits but still capture some wider environment when you're just out walking or basically in any situation. And also an aperture of f1.8 can render a very blurred out and beautiful bokeh. And still that aperture is just small enough to actually make for a compact lens. F1.4 lenses are usually pretty damn big and heavy, but f1.8 at this focal length usually it's possible to make a pretty compact lens. But unfortunately there haven't been any such lenses for the Sony FE system up until now, and I'm really happy that Samyang recognized this hole in the market and made this lens. So let's take a look at it. The first thing I noticed when I picked up the lens for the first time is how incredibly plasticky it feels. It feels very plasticky, but it also feels well built. It is nicely designed, it feels like high quality but still very plasticky. But it is extremely lightweight and it feels like it weighs almost nothing. Here it is compared with the 35mm f2.8 from Samyang, and the build quality and look of them are very similar. So if you own that lens you know what to expect. Here it is compared to the 35mm f1.4 and yeah, the size and weight difference is almost laughable. So yeah, it's pretty obvious that one of the main qualities of this lens is that it is very small and lightweight, and with the hood is only 167 grams, which is a lot less than 650 grams for the 35mm f4, but still a little bit more than the 84 grams for the 35mm f2.8. Anyways, it also comes with this super great lens hood. It is very short, this lens hood, and obviously not enough maybe to block the sun in all situations, but I think it is actually made as like instead of having a lens cap when you walk around with a lens, because it protects it very well without making the lens too long. And I really like this. It's great not to have a lens cap, so you can just pick up the camera and take a photo very quickly. So I've been using this lens now for a few days, just like 3 or 4 days, and I've used it at home to photograph my family, and I took a couple of walks in the forest to get some more variation in my shots, and I really have to say it is all I ever wished for, this lens. When I saw the announcement of the lens and the size and weight specifications, I was like, yes, this is exactly what I've been looking for. The closest to it I found before this would be the size 55mm f1.8, but that focal length is a little bit too long, and that lens is also really expensive. With this Samyang 45mm, I was a little bit afraid that it wouldn't be sharp, that would be the trade-off that they had made to make it so small and lightweight. But I was actually impressed with the sharpness of this lens, especially in the middle. It is very sharp at all apertures and distances, and in the corners it can at some apertures and distances be slightly unsharp, but it is definitely sharp enough for all my needs in every situation I've been using it. So yeah, overall the sharpness is good, and overall I didn't see any problems with chromatic aberration or anything, and also I think it handles shooting into direct sunlight in a really nice way. I think it has beautiful sun stars, as you've seen in some of my photos in this video. So overall the optical characteristics of this lens are really good. The autofocus is also pretty speedy, I would say. It is not the fastest autofocusing lens that I've used, but it is really good enough for all my needs, and it worked really well on my Sony A7 III. So I mentioned earlier that this lens feels very plasticky, but that is mostly when you hold the lens itself in your hands. When you put it on a camera and walk around with it, I never even think about it being plasticky. It just feels well built, and on the camera it has a good balance, and since the lens is so lightweight, the whole camera is also very lightweight, and yeah, it's a great experience to use the lens. And for the kind of walk around photo walking that I like to use this kind of lens for, it is absolutely perfect. One of my main motivations in being up to date with all the lenses that are coming out all the time has been actually to find a lens like this, the perfect all-round lens to be used in any situation, and that does not cost too much. It's around $400, and that I would say is a really good price if you want a compact, lightweight lens with good optics and the capability to take beautiful portraits. Here are a few more portraits I did with this lens, and yeah, I would say also that the bokeh is maybe not the absolutely nicest I've ever seen, but it is really good, I would say. Still, I think the bokeh on the 35mm f1.4 from Samyang is more beautiful than the bokeh from this lens, but I definitely do not have any problems with the bokeh in this lens. And here is one more sample of full resolution sharpness, and you can see it is very sharp. There are some alternatives to this lens. One would be the Zeiss 40mm f2. That lens is a lot more expensive and heavier and bigger, but yeah, I guess the optical quality of that lens may be slightly better. But I think one of the best selling points of this lens is the smallness and the lightweight of it. The minimum focusing distance is pretty long. This is definitely not a macro lens. I mean, this is as close as I could get on these flowers. So yeah, it cannot focus that closely. And of course they had to design it like that because they wanted to keep the lens small and short. And yeah, then you cannot focus that closely. But if you're okay with that, I don't see any other downsides with this lens actually. I also tried to do a little bit of video with this lens, and with the autofocus of modern Sony cameras, it was actually a very enjoyable experience. The focusing works quite well, even though it's not lightning fast in all situations, but yeah, it's a pretty nice all-round lens for videography as well. The focus length is just right for portraits with some environments, and it is useful in most video situations. Don't forget to subscribe to my email newsletter. I write about all the things that I didn't have time to bring up in any of my YouTube videos. It's all photography and photo gear and photographers and inspiration. Sign up at mwroll.com. And please don't forget to leave a like on this video if you did like it. It helps this channel a lot. Thank you for your like. And of course, subscribe to this YouTube channel if you aren't already. New videos every week. And I also have an Instagram account over at mwroll where I post a lot of my photos, so go there to see more of my work. That's it for this video, over and out, bye.